this is your private retreat when you're actually around your hometown.
Yeah. It's kind of nice to come back here. You know, the people in Wisconsin are extremely respectful of my time, and especially when I'm out in public with family and things like that. You know, I go all over the country and sometimes all over the world, and you never know what you're going to get. But when I come back here, for the most part, I mean, it's not 100%, but for the most part, people are extremely respectful, and I'm very fortunate.
Knowing you like what I have over the last decade or whatever, you're pretty wired, but is this your place where you can truly kind of just unwind and collect your thoughts?
It's my place where I can be the most me. I don't, you know, you don't have to worry about cameras everywhere. You don't have to worry about, you know, public perception. You don't have to worry about people. You just come back here, be with my friends and family. People that knew me before any of this happened, people that knew me before all the money and all the fame and everything that came with it. And I just get to be myself, you know, goofy, joking around, having fun, just enjoying myself. I think that's the most fun part about it.
It's always a tough question, but yeah, you are a global star now. You are international. So part of it is, yes, what you signed up for. Part of it is just mind-blowing, or what is it?
It never gets old, I guess. It always is new. It's definitely what I signed up for. You know, I try not to complain about it, you know, because it's exactly what you hope for. I think there's a lot of parts of it that when you dream about it as a kid, or when you think about it even coming up, you don't realize everything that comes with it. You always think about the good stuff, but I don't think you sometimes realize the bad stuff that comes with it. But 100 times out of 100, I would take the good stuff. I mean, because it outweighs the bad so much.
It definitely does. Can you be yourself? Like you said, this is where you are maybe yourself the most. Right. But have you gotten to the point now where you can still be yourself?
I think I'm getting back to being myself. You know, I think there's a time where as you come up and as you go through all this stuff, you kind of get caught up in it all, and you get very caught up in trying to do everything, trying to please everybody, and trying to be what everybody wants you to be. And I think for a little while there, I did get caught up in that. And so I think over the last, I don't know how long, I've been getting back to being myself, and it feels great. You know, not really caring what people think, not really caring, not trying to please everybody, just trying to please my family and friends and be who I am.
For people that know you, you are one of the most humble superstars, megastars, whatever you want to say. And obviously, when you're in the public eye, you're going to get some social media backlash. Right. I always sarcastically say Mother Teresa would get haters on Twitter. Yeah. How do you deal with that? Because now it's like your likability factor is almost off the charts, but yet you still have your haters.
Yeah, I think it comes with today's world. I think there's so much cynicism, there's so much negativity out there. It doesn't matter what you do, people are going to hate on you for it. I mean, I look at every other athlete, every other musician, every other entertainer. Everybody gets hated on. That's just the way it goes, and it almost gets to a point where you become so popular, they have no choice but to hate on you. And I think that's kind of what happens. I mean, whether it's LeBron or it's Steph or it's anybody. So you just have to realize that that's part of society now, and they're going to find a way to hate on you no matter what, and you just have to continue to be yourself. And as long as your family and friends know the real you, it doesn't really matter what they think.
Yeah, it's true. 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Is the best yet to come?
I sure hope so. I've had a blast so far. You know, my career is gone, you know, very well. I've been very fortunate. It always comes down to team success. That's the biggest thing that I'm working on. I'm just trying to be the best leader that I can be for our guys, and trying to go out there and help my team in whatever way I can. But I mean, I think if you would have told me back in high school, you know, you're going to win 3 out of 3 defensive player years in your first 5 years, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, like that's funny. So I can't sit here and complain. I've been very fortunate. And I'm still working as hard as ever to try and go out there and be better, because, I mean, that's my job.
Knowing you, I know that the team goals come first and foremost. You want to get to that Super Bowl. You want to do special things there. But to you, is it, you know, being one of those guys that is, you know, Defensive Player of the Year, year after year after year, the sack thing, it's unbelievable how many 20-sack seasons you've had. What goals do you think in your mind individually?
I think it's more just about leaving a legacy the way you play the game. I think everybody's going to look at numbers and all these different things, but I think the thing as a player you want to be remembered most for is how you played the game. So try and go out there and play the game the way it's meant to be played as hard as you can, always doing whatever you can to help your team out, and just trying to set an example for other players, for kids coming up, just let it all loose, let it hang out, and I mean, sacks are hard to get. You have to be lucky sometimes. So I can't sit here and say I'm going to get this many sacks every year because it's damn hard. But I think as long as I leave a legacy of saying that guy played the game the right way, that's probably the biggest thing to me.
Is one of your biggest legacies now trying to get to the Super Bowl?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think that's every player's they're trying to get to that legacy. I mean, it just takes you to a different level. It takes you to new heights, and I think that's the ultimate goal, and it's hard. I mean, football is the ultimate team game. It takes every single player on the team to get to that championship level, and so that's where I'm at now in my career. Is I'm really just trying to be the best leader that I can, so everybody's on the same page, and we're all working towards that one common goal.
Every year you look bigger to me. How are you physically? How are things?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. You know, obviously last year was the most tumultuous year of my career. It was tough. We fought through a lot of stuff this offseason already. There will always be lingering effects here and there, but my body feels really good. My trainer, Brad, is incredible. He's done a great job getting me ready. So I'm excited, and everybody knows once the lights turn on, it becomes a whole different ballgame. So it really doesn't matter how bad you feel. Once the lights turn on, it's all good.
That's why I brought backup today, because I figured when the lights go on,
Yeah,
I gotta be ready for that. Is it as simplistic to say that when you leave the game, whenever that is, I know that was a whole other issue, but whenever you leave the game, that you want to be known as the best in the game, one of the best in the game, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think I've said it before, and it'll always be my thing. If you're not stepping on the field every day trying to be the best ever, then you're wasting your time. There's no point in going out there and working and grinding every single day and putting everything you have into it if you're not trying to be the best ever. So yeah, there's no question that that's my goal. Now you talk about best ever, it's such a, everybody has their own opinion on it. So I mean, it depends on whose opinion you're looking at. And I think there's no way that there's not going to be a consensus ever. You know, I mean, in basketball you got Michael Jordan, and that's just clear cut. I think you'd have to do some crazy, incredible things in football to make that happen. I'm not opposed to doing crazy, incredible things, but I think it's very difficult for my position. So for me, it's just about knowing in my head that I left everything I had out there. Just every single thing that I had, I never gave up. I never gave less than my best effort, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Now, last year in the NFL Top 100, you were number 1. You're number 3. You're slipping, man. Come on.
I know. I'm slipping. It's crazy. I don't know what happened. I didn't work as hard, I guess. I didn't do enough tire flips and box jumps. I got to get back to work.
Cam and Tom passed you up.
I know. Those quarterbacks, man, they're tricky. They're tricky.
But you have to be proud of the fact that, yeah, the quarterback is the glamour position, but you have built yourself, however you want to look at it, into one of the most recognizable players on the planet.
I think that was always part of my goal. It's always been to do things that have never been done before and do things that people don't think you can do. So, I mean, for a defensive lineman to be, you know, whether it's one of the faces of the league or doing commercials, whatever it is, I've always wanted to step outside the box. You know, people would say, defensive lineman's not going to have his own shoe. Yeah, well, guess what? He can. That's always been my thing. You know, coming from a small town, Chris McIntosh was really the only NFL player before me. I just wanted to go out there, and that kind of set the bar for me. I mean, as a kid from Pewaukee, I think one of those moments that clicked for me was like, well, he made it from my school, why can't I make it? I think just having that example, and so hopefully that's my goal, is to be that example for other kids. It's like, I did it. I mean, I didn't come from any special circumstances or any crazy situation. You just put in the work and you get there.
You talked about kind of getting back to being you. How tough is it to be what you are now, which is, yeah, you got your own shoe, you got your own logo, you're in commercials, you're doing all this stuff, and I know how dedicated you are to football, so there's no question how dedicated you are to your day job, but how tough is that for you? And do you hear people say, well, okay, what's he doing with this? What's he doing with that?
I think I've done, I think I've kind of squashed all those possible things by the work that I've shown. I mean, no matter what commercial it is I'm filming, no matter what event it is I'm doing, I think everybody knows I'm doing my workout that day. It doesn't matter if my workout's at 3 a.m. or 11 p.m., my workout's getting done. Because I realize the fact that all this success I have, all this fun stuff I get to do is because I'm good at football. And the day I stop being good at football, the day all that stuff stops. So I can't ever give up my workouts in place of something else.
Fun stuff like I saw, you know, you put it out there, so that's the only reason I'd ask you about it, is like having a date with Kate Hudson and obviously getting to meet Jennifer Aniston and all these A-list stars.
It's a different world, man. It's a different world from walking the hallways at Pewaukee High. and hoping the cheerleader thinks you're cute, you know? I mean, it's a little bit different. But it's cool. It's, you know, you live and you learn. You go through a whole bunch of different experiences, and some are awesome, some aren't. Some are well received, some aren't. I think that's kind of, nobody gave me a blueprint. I mean, nobody sat there in high school and was like, okay, you're going to go on, you're going to become this NFL star. Here's how you should act. Here's how you should handle yourself. I've just been trying to figure it out. I mean, like I said, not many people have done this before, so
Right.
I'm trying to figure my way out through it. And of course, I'll make plenty of mistakes along the way, but I'll also learn and grow a lot. And I think that's the one thing that's the hardest. One of the hardest things about growing up or growing in the spotlight is that every single thing you do is recorded, and people don't realize you grow from year to year.
Right.
So if I said something, or I did something a year ago, I probably learned from that, and I'm a different person now. So don't hold me to that standard when I'm at a new standard now. I think that's one of the biggest things is people just forget you're a regular person. You're growing and learning just like anybody else.
And then everything that you do is under the microscope, too.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
in this
and
day
so
age.
everything that you do, I mean, whereas most people in their 20s are making mistake here, mistake there, nobody really knows about it besides them. If I make a mistake, it's out there in public, and everybody can rip on you any second. So you have to live your life a little bit differently. And yes, it's a sacrifice, but more than willing to make it.
And I imagine your buddies give you a little grief, mid-20s, and you see them with Kate Hudson and on TMZ and all this stuff.
It always makes for good group chat, text message banter. I'm the butt of a lot of jokes in group chats, which is fine. They don't complain too much when I take them all to Ireland for a trip or anything, so it's okay. I can handle the banter.
Exactly. Any other celebrity news that you want to dish? Are you going to be on ET anytime
No,
soon?
I don't. I don't think I'll dish any more celebrity news. I've worked very hard to keep most of that out of the spotlight.
True.
Whenever it does get into the spotlight, it makes news, so I just keep it on the down low.
True. The only reason I ask you about it is because the one was public,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
know.
you put it out
Absolutely.
there. So, comparisons to Reggie White, we talked about that a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
but how mind-blowing is it that now, obviously one of the greatest Packer/Eagle players of all time,
Yeah.
and people bring your name and his
Right.
name up all
It's
the
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, I had Reggie's picture on my wall. I mean, Reggie is one of the best football players to ever play the game, not just defensive lineman, one of the best ever. So to be put in a category with him and to see some of my numbers stacked up against his, and just to know that people even remotely put me on the same level that he was on is such an honor. It was such a blast watching him play growing up, and it was so much fun watching him play. I mean, if you can be put in that category, I think you're doing all right. And I'm very, very humbled to be in that category with him.
station I worked at in Green Bay, we used to do weekly interviews with him, and he was a man of character. I actually got to know him, and I would say that you are exactly like him.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, he's Reggie. He's a minister of defense. He was the man. So, I only wish I ever got a chance to meet him.
He was a one of a kind. Brett going to the Hall of Fame. What are your immediate thoughts? And one of the things that always comes to me, because I was there, was the Raiders game, obviously after his dad
Yeah, of
died.
course.
But what
Yeah,
do you
no,
think?
I mean, I remember that game vividly. I mean, growing up in the state of Wisconsin, you watched every Packers game every Sunday. That's just the way it was. So I think Brett, I mean, not for what he meant to football in general, but what he meant to the state of Wisconsin. I mean, just as a kid growing up, just fun to watch. Like, just an absolute joy to watch play the game. You could tell he had fun. You could tell he left it all on the field. You could tell he just enjoyed the game. And I think part of that rubbed off on me is just go out there and have a blast. I mean, this guy's out there, he's getting paid millions of dollars, and he's throwing his body around, he's throwing it underhand. I mean, yeah, he's throwing it to the other team sometimes, but he's having fun doing it. And I think that was the coolest thing about watching Brett playing. I mean, of course he's deserving to go to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
And I know how close you are with your dad, JJ. I mean,
Right.
could you imagine what he went through on that night, and what would you do?
I think as a fan watching it, it was like a different experience than I've ever had watching a football game, because you could feel it, and it was like everybody was with Brett that night. And I can't personally imagine what that would be like. I can't. But to watch him go through it, and to watch him, the way he played, the way he reacted, I mean, everything. One of the coolest things I've ever watched. So it was, yeah, that was special.
Well, I was there. So you got guys in the pit, skeletons, spiked shoulder pads, whatever, either literally crying or
Right.
holding up signs that say, "We're with you, Brett."
Yeah.
And it's one of those surreal
It's
moments.
incredible.
Yeah, and you've probably had moments like that now in football, where pinch me type stuff.
Yeah, I've had moments, but I've never had that. That's a whole different level. His is on a whole different level, but I've been fortunate. I mean, I've had a bunch of moments. There's a lot of moments that make you just sit back and realize how cool your job is. I mean, how how surreal it is to get to live your dream and that you get to put smiles on other people's faces just by, I mean, whether it's a handshake, it's a smile, you can't even see them or look. Maybe they're on TV and they're in their house, you're never going to meet them, but you can make somebody's day. Like, that's absurd to me.
Touching a kid's life, is that
It's
one
crazy.
of your favorite things?
It's better than any touchdown. I mean, at the end of the day, touchdowns are going to go away, sacks are going to go away, all those things are going to fade. But if you have an impact on somebody's life and that carries throughout the rest of their life, that's way bigger than any game you're ever going to play. So for me, that's the most important thing that I can do. That's why it's so cool to be famous, because you can go into a children's hospital and put a smile on a kid's face who's going through some of the toughest times, and whether it's 10 minutes or they remember that for the rest of their lives, you put a smile on their face and made them forget about what they're going through.
Now, being famous, you get to meet guys that I would love to meet, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is that like, to be
Arnold,
friends with?
He's funny, man. He's good. It's always good when we hang out because you never know what's going to happen. He's a good dude. It's cool. It's the same thing. It's all these things that you think about growing up. You're like, can you imagine if you ever like were eating dinner in Arnold's house? And like, no, I can't imagine that. And now I'm like, yeah, I am. It's just one of the weirdest things ever to like all these people you watch growing up, or all these people that you thought were bigger than life, weren't even like real people. Now you get to hang out with them and they know you. Like, they come up to you and say hi, and I'm like, this is weird. It's crazy, and I think that's. I hope I never lose that. I think that's what I talk about getting back to being me, is like just enjoying it all, not trying to be too cool for school, just enjoying it and really taking it all in.
You do enjoy it, and we enjoy your impersonations of him. You got to do one.
No chance.
You got to do one.
No, I've gotten actually better at it. I'm not going to give you any, but I've gotten a lot better at it. Because like my impersonation, the more I hang out with him, like I got like his regular voice down. Like his movie voice is just not a ton different, but it's a little bit.
Right.
But I can do his regular voice now, which is funny. So my brother and I do it all the time, because I brought TJ with me to the Arnold Classic this year, and so he got to hang out with Arnold too. So it's funny, man. My family's hilarious. TJ is funny. Derek, it's good. That's why I love having my family, because we can just my brothers and I are complete dorks. Like, we're just the biggest dorks ever. So.
Cool dorks.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to call it that. I mean, we're the
dorks that everybody wants to be.
Yeah, when we're inside these walls and we're on my house, like we're just silly, like just do stupid stuff, which is great. That's what it's supposed to be. Your brothers.
So not even get to the choppa?
No, nothing. I'm not giving you any. I'm not giving you any.
Leaving me hanging,
I know,
man.
I am.
How about the regular voice?
I am. No,
even the regular
not giving
voice?
you any. No Arnold impression today.
Man.
Nice try though.
I
respect
tried.
I tried the effort.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then I just I get shut down.
It's
so,
okay. Yeah.
Obviously, there's life after football. I'm not going to get into all of that, but would you like to? I mean, knowing Arnold, talking to Arnold, knowing how much you respect Arnold, would you like to be like an action hero down the road? Do that.
It's definitely a thought in my mind. I don't have any decision on if I'm going to do something like that or pursue that. I mean, I've done a couple little parts in movies here and there that are coming out soon, but I haven't decided yet, because there's part of me that really wants to pursue that and see what I can do in that, because it's fun. I enjoy it. But then there's a part of me that just really wants to come back here and just be a normal guy and have a family and coach high school football and just be regular. You live your whole life. I mean, from high school on, from playing, being recruited to going through college, playing big-time college ball to NFL, ever since I was in high school, every second of my life has been planned out for me, and it's been in the spotlight. So part of me just is really intrigued by not having a schedule, by coaching high school football, by having an impact on kids, by being able to just wake up and have a cup of coffee and just read the paper and not have to read about myself in the paper.
Read about TJ and Derek.
Yeah,
in the
exactly,
paper. Yeah.
exactly. But I also know that I do enjoy the entertainment factor. Like, I love being an entertainer. I think that's fun. I think I really enjoy that. So I can't sit here and say definitively what I'll do.
And you've had a variety of experiences, like obviously most recent, the CMT Music Awards, but a lot of different things that you've done, and you've probably tried and said, okay, I like that, or I don't like that as well.
Yeah, and I think there's so many options. I think that's what's exciting right now, is just exploring all the different options, seeing what I enjoy, what I don't, and watching other people's paths. I mean, you look at Michael Strahan, he's done an incredible job with his post-football career. I mean, all the stuff that he's been able to do. So I'm very open-ended. I don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's kind of exciting. Slightly scary, because I know that post-football is a very tough time for players. I know it's a very difficult thing to go through. So I don't know what's going to happen, but sometimes it's exciting to not know what's going to happen.
So you have a scene in the can for Pitch Perfect 3? Is that what you're telling me?
I love Pitch Perfect, man. I don't think I can. No, because you can't really top what the Packers did. They did a good job.
They did.
They did a great job. So no, I don't think I'll be in Pitch Perfect 3, but I'll watch it. I love Pitch Perfect.
And you probably can't tell me, do the contractual whatever, what scenes you shot or what movies, or can you give us a glimpse of what you might be in?
I'm in Bad Moms coming out in late July, I think.
Yeah.
I just have I'm a soccer coach in that, so I got a couple parts. That was fun.
Nice.
Those girls are a blast to shoot with. I have a part coming out, I think next fall in an Ang Lee movie, Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. So just a very small part in that one. But I mean, Ang Lee's an Oscar-winning director. He directed The Life of Pi. So I mean, that was cool for me just to watch him work. And that's one of my favorite things to do is just to watch people who are great in their field work. So for me to be on set with Ang Lee and watch him work was incredible. It's just all these different people you get to watch work in their own elements is awesome.
My wife's going to be excited because she's going with her buddy group to the Bad Moms
Oh, it's
movie.
going to be
So
funny. Yeah, it's a little bit raunchy, but it's funny.
She'll enjoy it. So, playing the Packers, you've done it before, but did everybody, the moment the schedule came out, circle the calendar for December 4th, and do you realize who your true friends are on that day?
I think that's one good thing about my family and friends is my true family and friends. They know me well enough to know whether or not they're on the list. So I mean, they're not. Nobody asked. Nobody on the first day the schedule came out. Nobody asked. They all just kind of knew, and I love my family and friends for that reason. They respect my privacy. They respect the fact that if they're in the circle, they're getting tickets. If they're not, they're not. I mean, I think that's been so well established, and that's part of the reason that I've been so successful because I have such good people around me. But it's going to be a great time. I mean, TJ gets to play in Lambeau before I do, which is cool. I mean, the Badgers play up there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool for me. I've never played in Lambeau before, so it's going to be exciting. But yeah, I guess I won't really know, but I guess you'll find out who my true friends are by who's wearing blue and who's wearing green. So we'll know.
And you never go easy on anybody. You don't go easy on your brothers. So how much do you just sit there and roll your eyes when somebody says, "We like you, JJ, but go easy on Aaron," or whatever happens?
No, I know. I get that literally on a daily basis. Gas station, grocery store, anywhere. You get it everywhere. Or come to the Packers, or would you be traded to the Packers? And I was always polite about it. I'm always just like, it's just that's what makes the state of Wisconsin great.
Right.
Is the loyal Packer fans, is how great the people are to their team. I think that's what was cool about growing up here is you just see how a team can affect the whole state and how they can do so much for people and how people can be so passionate. I think that's one of those reasons that I try and do as much fan interaction as I can, because I grew up here and I know what it would have been like if one of my greats in my mind reached out to me. So I try and do as much as I can because it's cool. And I don't know if there's any place really like Green Bay in the way that they do it because of the relationship that the fans have with the team, and I think it's so cool. So even though I'm not a fan of the team anymore, I still respect the relationship that they have with their fans.
I know talking with Derek like 2.5 months ago, he said if that call goes out and he's got to rub the defensive end out or he's got a double team or whatever, it's going to be just like back in the basement in Pewaukee.
I'd be pissed at him if it was any other way. I think that's what makes us so good is that we don't care, that we worked out together today. I mean, it's just, you're in the weight room together, you're competing. You're on the field together, you're competing. As soon as the game's over, you're brothers, and nobody's going to mess with him, nobody's going to mess with me. But I can't wait for that game. It's going to be fun.
And I also can't wait for, like you said, TJ. Now, I hate, dare I say it, he's getting that JJ buzz right now. Nobody knows that it's like the gift under the tree at Christmas. Nobody knows, but you're hearing good things about your little brother.
He is good. He is good. I mean, I love watching him play. I love watching him work, watching him train, watching him. He's a very good player. He's got the instincts. He's in his natural position now at defense, and he's got the hunger. I mean, he's hungry for it. I watch him, whether it's training or he asks me questions about moves, or he's asking me about schemes, or he's asking me about how he can eat better and all this, and I'm like, he's got it. Like, he knows what he's trying to do. So I respect it. I can't wait to watch him work. I mean, after watching Derek go through his career and be so good at his position and be drafted, I mean, I got the coolest job ever as an older brother. Just going to watch these guys grow and play so well. So I couldn't be happier. I can't wait to watch TJ play full time as a starter because, yeah, the buzz is justified.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has to go out there and he has to live up to it, and I think he lives for that, just like I live for that. So I think it's going to be fun to watch.
And Derek's more precise and like business-like, but TJ's got a little JJ in him. I can tell when that camera gets on him.
There's a little different, yeah.
He knows how to light it up.
There's a little bit of a different, yeah. Derek is very business-like. He's going to knock out whatever he has to do. He's going to do it. He's incredible at that.
Yep.
TJ's got a little bit of that defensive mindset where it's a little bit more free-flowing with the mind. He's a little bit more. He's got a little. Yeah, I can't wait to watch him play because once he really gets into his own, it's gonna be fun to watch.
What will not detract you from being either the best, like we've talked about before, or what goes into your drive?
I mean, as long as that's why I say I'm not gonna play forever, because as long as I'm playing and as long as I go out there and I'm putting my cleats on every day, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be the best, and that's the way I was raised from my parents. That's just trying to make my family proud, trying to make the community I'm from proud, and trying to make our fans proud. I mean, I've said it before, they pay me money to go out there and chase a ball around. Like, it's the coolest job ever. Like, it's crazy.
Occasionally catch a ball.
Yes, every now and then. So and these fans, they go out there and they buy my jersey, and they spend their hard-earned money to buy my jersey. They want to wear Watt on their back, and to me, that's the craziest thing in the world. So who am I to go out there and waste that? I want to make them proud to wear that name. I want to make them proud to wear that jersey and come to the stadium. I want them to say, I spent my money on a guy I can be proud to wear his jersey. And that's kind of my goal, is just to go out there and be the best that I can be every day, because I don't know when it's going to end. But when it does, I want people to say, he did it the right way. I'm glad I got to watch him play.
And I thought that whole thing got overblown a couple of months ago, but basically what you're saying is whether it's 10 years, 15 years, whatever you play, you're going to play as much at the highest level that you can. Your body, you're going to give everything out of your body, and you're going to know when it's time. And you don't want that to even slip a hair.
Right, and when that does, that means it's time. And I think it's not that hard. It's not going to be that hard for me, because I'll know. Like, when the workouts aren't fun anymore, when the practices aren't enjoyable, when I don't want to give everything I have, then it's over. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's the day it's over. So who knows when that'll be. I don't know if it'll be my mind that tells me or my body that tells me or what it is. I mean, my body tried to tell me a whole lot this year, and we still made it through the year, and we still had a good year. So I think I don't know when it's going to come. I know it'll be tough, no matter when it happens, no matter how the circumstances happen, because I love the game. I love Sundays. I love playing for these fans. I love playing. And I've known football my whole life, since 5th grade, so I don't know anything else. So it's going to be interesting, but I know I love doing it, and as long as I love doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Final thing is, you've always carried yourself so well. There are so many people around here that are proud of you. And is it ever tough, because you have those people that try to nick you, try to get you, try to, people with these now, whatever, that try to, those gotcha moments? Yeah. Because I'm amazed, JJ, at people can say what they want, but you have never put yourself in a compromising position.
Yeah, I try not to. I think that's because I know what people try and do. I know that people try and put me in a compromising situation. So even just until recently, I mean, I was a guy that I wouldn't even go out and have a drink with the guys because I didn't want those pictures out there. I mean, I've gotten a little bit more relaxed with that because I'm 27 years old. Newsflash, I'm going to have a beer with my buddies. Like, that's going to happen. So I've gotten a little bit more relaxed on that, but you're not going to see me in a position that, is going to make my family not proud. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is I know that my grandma and my great-grandma, who's 98 years old, is always watching, and they see everything that I do. And I don't want my grandma or my great-grandma or my mom or my brothers to have to turn on the TV and not be proud of me. So that's kind of something that I always try and do. And like I said, I made mistakes. I'm going to make more mistakes. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But I'm trying to do my best. I'm always trying to be the best role model that I can be for the kids coming up, because there's hundreds, thousands, whatever it is, millions of kids out there that watch the NFL, and they're watching our moves to see what kind of people that we are, and they're emulating. Sometimes they're emulating my swim move to try and get to the quarterback, but other times they're emulating the person that I am, and I want them to emulate something that they should be proud to grow up as.
And I know you weren't a wrestling fan, but I guess I got to ask you anyway about the whole invitation to Wrestlemania.
I just heard about it recently. I don't know how it works really.
Right.
It's been considered. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I got to learn a little bit more about it. But I mean, I'm not opposed to throwing my body around and having some fun.
I think you could slam somebody.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna jump off the top of a cage anytime soon. I saw that. That's looked crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But I feel like I could hold my own. I don't know. We'll see.
And there was some guy the other day saying that your name's going to be like Chuck Norris. You know, all the Chuck Norris jokes, like, you know, Chuck. It takes 5 days to mow all this, but Chuck Norris can chop it down with his hand 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That'll be JJ's name someday.
I've heard those. Yeah. It's funny like that. So I had a couple years ago. I was fortunate. Chuck Norris. He had some charity fundraiser in Texas, in Houston, and he was holding a charity fundraiser, and I got this phone call, and they were like, "Hey, can you fill in for Chuck Norris?" I was like, "Whoa. Like, this has to be a joke. Like, what do you like? Chuck Norris doesn't do anything wrong." I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "No, seriously, Chuck can't make it to his charity event. He had a family emergency. Can you fill in for Chuck?" And I was like, you gotta find somebody else. Like, you can't be asking me to fill in for Chuck Norris. And they were like, "No, please do it." And so I went, I filled in for Chuck Norris, and I was like, that is like, I'll tell my kids someday, because they'll hear all the Chuck Norris jokes. I'll be like, I filled in for Chuck Norris.
JJ Watt, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, it's a crazy life, man. It's a crazy life.
I can't even imagine that. That's just, and then meeting the Bushes and stuff like that.
Wow, man. The Bushes are great. I mean, I don't really do it often, but like when I sit down and think about some of the stuff that I've been able to do, and especially when I go back to my high school. So just the other day I went back, and you sit up in the bleachers of my high school, and you just sit there and you're like, I used to dream about playing varsity football at Pewaukee. And now, like I said, if you would have told my younger self what's going to happen, I would have said you were writing a fairy tale. You're writing every dream I ever had.
And even dreams you didn't have.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And I don't know what's next, and that's what's cool, is I don't even know what could happen next. And I think that's some of the most exciting things in the world, is when you don't know what can happen. So we'll see.
I still remember a skinny kid 80 pounds ago that was wearing a maroon shirt and a gold tie,
Yeah,
and didn't know if he was, well, he knew he was going to Central Michigan, but I thought he was going to Minnesota because it flip-flopped.
Yeah, golly, that was crazy, man. Signing day. I was skinny back then. And then, I mean, just little moments like that. I think that's what's crazy, is that little moments that are such big moments in your life, and for a lot of people are some of the biggest moments in their life. They don't get forgotten, but they almost get forgotten because of all the big moments that have come after them. So it's crazy, like, whereas for some people signing day is the biggest day, I almost sometimes forget about it because of all the other cool stuff. So I have to try and, I don't know how, but like at some point I just have to sit down and think through my whole life and all the crazy stuff that's happened, because it really is. It's living a dream, but a dream that you work extremely hard for.
I know you don't forget about playing quarterback at Pewaukee, though. You remind people about that. I've heard that.
I sucked. I'm glad that.
It's one of the only things you weren't good at in your life.
I was pretty good at it, except for the short throws. I just want, you just let me run the ball, I'd be fine. Or throw deep passes, yeah. Just don't ask me to throw the bubble pass. That's all. No, I'm meeting with my high school coach tonight. We're gonna go grab some food together. Yeah, he's the best.
He's great.
No, I mean, that's why I love coming back here, because the people that were with me from the start, that knew my dreams back then, that supported my dreams back then, they're all here. And the people that were my true friends and family, and the people that loved me for me, before any money, before any fame, before any commercials, they're all here. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, fans are gonna come and go. They're gonna remember me and then forget me. Money's gonna come and go. Games are gonna come and go. Records are gonna come and go. Awards are gonna go. And it's just gonna be who's sitting here with me on the porch, you know, who's coming over for Friday night dinner. Like, those are the things that matter when it's all said and done. So that's what's all here. So I love it here.
Maybe I can come over and actually get in the kitchen then. I can get in the second room.
No, maybe someday, Lance. Maybe someday. You keep playing your cards right, you'll get yourself. Maybe you use the bathroom next time if you need to. Yeah.
It's like a poker game, you know.
You get some next time.
But you're loyal and honest with people around here.
Yeah.
They're loyal and honest to you.
That's what's great about it. I go to this little restaurant, little diner in downtown, the downtown area, and I eat there probably 3 times a week. And the waitresses are awesome. They treat me like I'm a regular person. All the people there don't bother me. No pictures, no nothing. I get to go in there and eat and be like a normal person. I watch people watch in the window as the people walk by in the downtown. to me, that's awesome because I love Houston. I love Houston. It's awesome. But at the end of the day, I'm a small town guy. I like watching people walk down Main Street. I like watching boats go around on the water. I like going to a Friday night game where there's 700 people in the stands. Like, that's me at the end of the day. I can be who I need to be, and I can love this life that I get to live. But at the end of the day, where I feel most at home, where I feel most comfortable, is in a small town USA setting.
And real people will use sarcasm and knock you down a peg and say, okay, what's up with the hair or the beard, the this, the that, or your real friends will let you know what it's
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's always a journey that I've enjoyed, and there's plenty more steps in the journey left, so I'm sure I'll screw up plenty more times, and people can let me know about it. So I can't wait.